parasites. Which one? Because we've all got them. You might not like it because it's not fun. I can guarantee that. But hey, we're a living being, an entity, and we have warm, humid environment with lots of good food for parasites. So let's get a couple of things clear, just so we can have base knowledge that everyone can share. Parasite and entity is the same thing. One's a biological word, the other one's a spiritual word. So what do? Both of them sap energy and suck energy from us and can grow and are responsible for those mental and emotional patterns that we want to get rid of. So if we want personal or spiritual growth, or in fact longevity and divinely radiant health and control of our own minds, then at some stage we're going to have to deal with our parasites. And lucky for myself and a lot of friends and clients, exercise and those with good digestion are going to have less parasites than most. But I mean, I've been getting rid of a lot of ringworms in the last couple of months, 12 in total. So these represent really deep-seated subconscious patterns that have been there for 20, 30 years. And I can tell you, when you get rid of them and you see them coming out, it's just such a relief and an expansion of your awareness, and consciousness comes, more information comes. It's quite remarkable. It really is. So I thought I'd put together a little video on how we can identify them without going through lots of different tests at the doctors who don't even know about these things anyway, and only test for a few. They don't really have quite a good understanding because they simply haven't done it themselves. And as we know, you gain a lot of information and experience, and then more information and experience by getting rid of it yourself, doing your own work, and then being able to share with others. So let's link a few things together. The parasites. Look, it looks like a snake, doesn't it? Or a serpent. So in all the spiritual symbolism, whenever you see a snake, it essentially means a parasite. So the Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. Would that be a ringworm? Causing an individual to constantly be doing the same things, eating the same foods, which creates more food for that particular parasite. That's the food they particularly like, usually sugar, or can be many things. Yeast is a big one, and sushi and pork. You want to cut those out if you want to grow, that is. And so how do we identify it? Well, I've had a number of experiences during Kundalini classes and in meditations where my body will actually fold in half quite violently, and then I'm like bang my head. My head would bang back down on the pillow on the bed many times, and I had no control over this. It was rather quite unusual at first, but okay, you just breathe and witness and try to learn the lesson from what's going on. And every time I got up, I had oregano oil, or that was a parasite. My vibration had got too high that parasite had to go, and there was a reaction, which of course reaction just means an action from the past, and this parasite was trying to prevent me from continuing to grow and clean my body and grow spiritually by showing me a memory from the past or a thought pattern from the past, and didn't like it because essentially it was going through an exorcism. So let's associate the exorcism that we see in the Catholic and Christian rituals. We don't need all the fancy hoopla, you know, it's essentially an energy healing. But we don't need a priest or a clergy member who's, you know, from a movie who specifically does exorcisms. No, we can do it ourselves. What's the best exorcism method? Parasite cleanse. Yeah, easy enough. And of course, what are these parasites or these entities called in ancient and spiritual and biblical texts? Devil or Diablo. So these are essentially the mental patterns. They're the cause of the mental patterns that we need to get rid of. So without getting rid of our parasites and maybe just doing a meditation and thinking we're clearing our guts from mental patterns, okay, you might identify and clear one or two, but unless you get them out and you physically see them, job hasn't been done. It's a half job at best. Not even. It's simply, there has to be a visual psyching because you will be drawn to it. What I've noticed is when something comes out, it gets my attention as a universe saying, hey, this is a reward, and notice that, hey, you're making progress. So, using that exorcism and the devil and identification association, so we need to identify which one that we're dealing with. I mean, we can just, clean stuff out. That works great. In fact, if your diet and lifestyle, you certainly want to be doing that. But if we can identify which one, it does make it a little easier to adjust the diet. So feel free to tune in to your energy body and really go relax and deep within. What I'm going to do is read off a couple of different types of parasites, the most common ones. And then if there's an emotional reaction or an eye twitch or an expression change or a feeling in a certain part of the body, any reaction that is different from being centered and yourself will identify. So feel free to center yourself, calm, relax, some nice deep breathing, connect with your divinity or your flavor of the divine or your higher self. Good. So, is there a reaction for blood fluke? Intestinal fluke? Ringworm? I got a reaction on that one. Tapeworm? Threadworm? Pinworm? Roundworm? Whipworm? Flatworm? Hookworm? Okay, how do we go? Identify something? Yeah, it's quite possible that there might be more than one. It could be a whole colony. Depends on diet, lifestyle choices. And even someone with a perfect diet and organic food, and even vegan diet, which actually makes it worse, then we all have them. I've done 4 years of solid, disciplined, daily cleansing with the best of everything from modern science and ancient wisdom, and tried everything I come across. And I'm now getting rid of, 4 years later, about 12 different worms, mainly the ringworm for me. And 12 in the last 2 to 3 months, mainly from urinary tract through the kidneys, because that's where they generally tend to hang out. They can move around anywhere, but that's a big factor. And in this area, of course, that's your safety, security, your base chakra, and your sacral, which is your spiritual energy, and your sexual energy. So we don't want to transmit that. We want that clean and clear so we can have as much energy flow for our personal and spiritual growth. So, parasite cleanse, I want to consider. And feel free to send me a message. I've got a number of protocols. Alright, nice one.